Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit of an update on my diet that I've been on for going on 6 months. I want to talk about that and the results that I've been having. I've mentioned this before. I did a video called "This Diet is Changing My Life." If you want to check that out, definitely do. And today I wanted to give you more of an in-depth look at what it's been like with this diet and actually specifically talk about a lot of the things that I can or cannot eat. I got my hair cut again. If you can tell, it's like shorter. I love it. Every time I get it cut, I'm like, let's go shorter, let's go shorter. So I love it. It's great. Let's talk about my diet. I guess I should start like from the beginning in case this is the first video that you are watching of mine and you have seen the title and been like, oh, maybe that'll apply to my life. So basically I have had eczema and stomach digestion issues since I was like really little. Like it's been the beginning of time. So the first thing I ever cut out was dairy, and then gluten, and then eggs. And then I went vegan. So that was sort of the process for my diet on my own, like the choices I made. And then over that time, I also went to see a naturopath about 2 years ago. And that was sort of kind of a frustrating experience. Like she pretty much just told me to keep eating the way I was eating and that my eczema would go away. But that obviously didn't work because my eczema got worse. And over the summer, I pretty much had the worst eczema I've ever had in my whole entire life. It started in April and then like just got progressively worse. And so I went to a nutritionist finally, who's also a family friend, and that's how I figured out all these things. But I'm not a doctor or someone who should be telling you what's wrong with you, okay? You need to go talk to someone. Like if you have serious issues with your skin, with your stomach, whatever it is, please go talk to a professional because they will know what they're doing. I personally do not. I just am going to tell you my story. First thing that my nutritionist and I discussed was my veganism. This is something that's been really important to me, something that I really can't see myself really straying. Like I do consider myself plant-based, and there was a time in the summer when my nutritionist encouraged me to eat some fish because my omega levels were really off balance. So basically I had been supplementing one type of omega. I don't know if it was 3, 6, or 9. I'm not sure which one it was. But I was supplementing that one omega and not the rest. So my omega levels were like really all over the place. And basically that tended to be like the general theme of my body was just like off balance. That was one of the things that we talked about first. And so I ate a little bit of fish though. That was one thing that I did. And I was listening to my body. My body was craving it. I'll tell you that much. It was crazy. And so once I got that craving over with, I stopped eating it, and I haven't eaten it since. So it was like about a month and a half of the summer I was eating a little bit of fish. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing that we talked about was Candida, which if you don't know, it's an overgrowth of not a very good yeast in your stomach, and it makes it hard for your body to digest food. And it's actually very common, and a lot of people have it and don't even know they have it, and they just live with it. But sometimes when it gets to a point that it's like really bad, that's when you're like, holy crap, why can't I eat anything without feeling like I'm going to either like be sick or have diarrhea or have other gross things happen. So for me, I have had a lot of stomach pain. I've had a lot of like lack of appetite. Like I would literally be eating a meal and just lose my appetite like that. And fatigue, nausea, lots of nausea. So those are just like some of my personal symptoms with the Candida. My levels weren't like crazy off the charts, but it was very obvious that I had Candida in my stomach, and that was something that we wanted to kind of work with. The other thing that we found out as we were going along was that I have something called a leaky gut. Basically, it just means essentially that my gut is really damaged. I was told that the leaky gut sort of whole thing, it can manifest as like a lot of pooping, and that's kind of what I was experiencing. Was like pretty much every time I would eat, it's not even like that, but I would literally be pooping 4 to 5 times a day, which is not healthy. Like it gets to a point where you're literally losing nutrients. With that, she put me on something called the SCD diet, and that stands for the specific carbohydrate diet. But then also in tandem, I was also on a Candida diet. Candida really discourages the consumption of fruit. So This was really, really hard for me. As you guys know, I love fruit. Like if you follow me on Instagrams, like I always am posting like my smoothie bowls, and I love smoothies and things like that. So for the first 2 weeks of this kind of cleanse, I guess, I didn't eat any fruit. And sometimes I would eat 1 piece of fruit a day. That's what she limited me to, 1 piece of fruit per day. And I started feeling like kind of not even that good. Like I started feeling like not good. Like I missed fruit and like the taste of it, but also like I felt like my body wasn't enjoying this like cleanse of deliciousness. Fruit is so good for you, right? So I started incorporating a little bit more fruit into my day, and I realized that for me, and this is where like it gets so particular because everybody is going to be different with this, but for me, I can't consume fruit in like certain orders. So like if I eat fruit, okay, before a cooked meal, I have to be careful. Like there should be time in between. I cannot consume fruit after a cooked meal at all, or else I'll be really uncomfortable. I will have to like poop like right away. That's pretty much what happens. So that is something to note. And I think that's actually something a lot of people know, is like you don't eat fruit after eating cooked food, but like that's not something ever that I thought of. So just something to be aware of. Maybe something that you all could do to reduce bloating and stuff, because that's another thing. I wasn't like super bloated, but I was bloated. Okay, let's be honest. I was a little bloated. There was a little bloat going on. So that's the first thing that we did with the fruit. Next thing that I was not allowed to eat is no carbs. So a specific carbohydrate diet looks at the like molecular structure of your food and how complex it is, how hard it is for your body to break down. Rice, I'm not allowed to eat right now. Potatoes, chickpeas. That was a weird one. So she tested me for chickpeas and I tested terribly on them. So I haven't been able to have hummus, which I used to eat all the time. And it's just sort of funny because like as we were doing this, like brown rice, quinoa, I can't have oats, I can't have millet, I can't have kamut, I can't have gluten. Obviously that's an allergy I've always had. Corn, I can't have. Buckwheat, I can't have. Barley, I can't have. Any kind of rice, I can't have. Spelt, I can't have. Wheat, I can't have. Basically any of those things I cannot eat. It's funny because like that was the basis of my diet. I was eating a lot of rice, I was eating a lot of potato, I was eating a lot of like processed grains, I guess, and my body was just like not having it. And so after cutting this stuff out, and one of the things I will say too for me is that I was so ready to like do something, do anything to get my eczema to go away, to feel better, like my stomach to feel better, that I honestly, if she had said to me, Emily, you can only eat like, I don't know, like 5 different types of food, I would have been like, okay. Like I would have been willing to do it. I mean, as scary as this was, honestly, in the beginning, because I was like freaked out by this, it was really overwhelming. I was willing to do it. So I feel like you have to be at that place. Don't waste your money going to a nutritionist and all this stuff if you're not ready. If you're ready and if you feel like, you know, like you've kind of reached that rock bottom, like then yeah, definitely do it. Sweeteners, I can't have any sugar. I can't have any of that agave, coconut nectar, coconut sugar. The only sweetener I can have is honey. That's that. That's sort of like the limitedness of my diet. So you might be thinking, well, that doesn't sound so bad. The reality is, once I started on this diet, I'm gonna say, but it is a lifestyle, I guess, because I've been doing this for 5 months and haven't strayed really, except for I had at Thanksgiving I had a piece of the Daya cheesecake, the New York cheesecake, which is like 10 out of 10, would recommend 1000%. But anyways, other than that, I haven't strayed at all. It was really daunting to pick up food, like packages of food, and be like, holy crap, 2 things that are in everything: corn for some reason and sugar. Sugar's in everything. So those were like the most frustrating things, and it really led me to not eating out a whole lot. The reality is though, for me, it's all worth it because yes, this diet is tough. Yes, that's for sure. But I have actually noticed, like I can actually see a difference. Like my hands are not something I'm embarrassed of anymore. I still get little outbreaks here and there, but they are nothing like it was. My hands were literally covered, and it wasn't the texture of my hands anymore. It was absolutely terrible. Not only for my eczema has this really helped, but for my stomach, so I don't experience bloating. Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even realize like how much of a difference it makes. The only time I am bloated or I become bloated is if I eat too late at night. My stomach is much more settled. Like I don't feel like I'm as like out of control with like having to shit everywhere pretty much. Like I know it sounds really like dramatic, but that's my reality. I feel much more regular that way, and I'm not pooping like 5 times a day. I'm pooping like a regular person amount. As much as it is like limiting, it's been super rewarding, and I would highly recommend, if you feel like really fatigued, if you feel like every time you eat like something negative happens to your body, like you don't have to deal with that. Like you just have to make changes. And the reality is like the food that we put in our body, like the food that we eat today is not even close to being the same type of food that it was like 10, 15, 20 years ago. Like it's totally different. Our food is so processed. Our food is like so manufactured. So yeah, that's pretty much been my experience. Maybe this seems daunting to you, and it should, because it is kind of freaky, but I for so long complained about my eczema and all these things, but like I wasn't really doing anything. Like I was maybe like topically applying stuff, but it really does start from within. Like if your body inside is like off balance and unhealthy, then you have to fix that before you can really do anything else. So definitely keep that in mind as well. Like you have to take action, and it's gonna be a lot of work, just being honest. Definitely recommend seeing a naturopath or a nutritionist or something, and they can kind of point you in the right direction. But if you have any of like a similar experience as me, like definitely try. Sugar is like a huge culprit, and I was so resistant to giving it up, but I have, and I feel great. So that's it. I think that is all I wanted to say. If you have any other questions that I didn't address in this video or my other videos where I've talked about this, definitely let me know in the comments below, and I will see you all very, very soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.